After all of everything that you went through and this person approaches you in the gym and it sounds like it was kind of a casual, like, okay, yeah, I'll give this a try. It sounds great. But to go from that to competing at the world championships and then coming fifth in such a short amount of time, I mean, maybe it didn't feel short at the time, but as you look back now, do you feel like that change happened very quickly?
It was so quick, and it's hard to imagine now my life without cycling. I feel like I've been riding and racing bikes forever. But in all reality, it's been 4.5 years since I got on the start line for my very first race. So to think of it that way, it's kind of like, wow. Like the race I did won my pursuit in, I think I've probably done that race 4 times. That might have been like my sixth pursuit ever, and it was a bronze medal. So when I really kind of take a step back and I look at it in the context of everything else, it is kind of like a wow, like look how far we've come from that 15-year-old girl laying in the hospital with a tube down her throat, that 16-year-old girl in the psychiatric hospital whose body was shutting down, to standing on the podium at the Paralympic Games. Was, again, when you think of it in context of everything else, it's pretty incredible, really.
Yeah, it's such a remarkable story. I know you had, we were talking about your about ending up in the hospital as you were battling anorexia and how this sort of continued over the next 5 or 6 years. Was there a point for you? I know you had mentioned like initially the team was really treating kind of the physical symptoms and the eating portion of it. As you started cycling, was there a point in there where you were able to be treated for the more psychological side of that?
I think because I had such a negative experience that first time, I wasn't open to any professional help. And that made it really challenging. But I think once I had cycling and I realized how great this made me feel and how I finally felt like myself, I kind of realized that I can't get better at this. I can't compete on the world stage if I'm not fueling my body. My degrees are in exercise physiology, sport nutrition, so I knew the basic intellectual side of things. I knew in theory, what had to be done, and those were really what that knowledge and that love of cycling and that love of sport was really what helped me to, I would say, get over the hump with my eating disorder, because it was, you know what, I really don't want to eat right now, but I've got intervals tomorrow morning, and if I don't have this snack, I'm not going to have the energy to do that. If I don't bring food on this ride, I'm not going to be able to hit my power output for the whole 3 hours. If I'm not getting enough carbs, enough proteins, enough fats, I'm not going to get stronger from this weightlifting. So I would say in the beginning, it was really cycling and my drive to get better and to exceed and to hit the highest level that helped me to get over the hump and at least get into a mental space where I could then process everything that I had been through in the last 10 years. And once I was in the mental state that allowed that, and I allowed myself to think back to some of those times, that's when I was really able to work through some of the struggles that I did have.
It sounds like cycling has been healing and kind of life saving in so many different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't hesitate at all to say that I think cycling saved my life. Because while kind of things were semi-managed before I started cycling, it was going to take one bad thing, one straw breaking the camel's back, that was going to put me back into relapse. And how many times can you be 70 to 80 pounds before your body says that's enough? So I don't hesitate to say cycling came in, and I found who I wanted to be and who I always wanted to be again, which then kind of gave me the strength to move on. And don't get me wrong, I still have days where I struggle. There's no doubt about that, and I probably will for most of my life. But it's knowing how to handle those voices, whether they're a whisper or whether they're the only thing I can hear. And it's having strategies and people around me who I can talk to and who I can brainstorm with, or who can just listen. and knowing what my body needs and being able to kind of logic my way through it a little bit when I'm in the headspace to do so, and just getting through the hard days so that I can excel in the easy days.